Hello, learners. You're once more welcome to another session of our program. And today we shall continue with symbols of elements. Remember, in our last lesson, we talked about the definitions of atoms and elements, where we told you that an atom is the smallest particle of an element that can take part in a chemical reaction, and an element being a pure substance with just single kinds of atoms. So today we are going to usher ourselves to symbols of elements. And at the end of this lesson, we expect you to tell us what the symbol of an element is, and also give us some examples of symbols of elements. Now, before we continue, I want us to have a brief overview or a brief view of our periodic table. Good. Now, when we look at this table, we find elements with some letters, usually one or two, used to take the place of these elements. So, what can we say the symbol of an element is? A chemical symbol or the symbol of an element is usually one or two letters used to represent that element. I repeat, a chemical symbol or the symbol of an element is usually one or two letters used to represent that element. Now we have some elements whose symbol consists of one letters. Good examples, we have hydrogen. Now looking at hydrogen, the symbol is made of one letter, and that letter is a capital letter. Moreover, that letter comes from the first letter of the word hydrogen. Similar examples include boron, carbon, whose symbol is capital C, and of course the first letter of the word carbon, and also nitrogen, oxygen, fluorine, etc. There are also elements whose symbol consists of two letters, and the second letter of that symbol is always a lowercase. Now let's look at good examples. We have lithium, beryllium, aluminium, silicon. Another good thing is that the two letters of these symbols of elements are usually the first two letters of the elements. What do I mean by that? If we look at lithium, the first two letters of the word lithium is taken as the symbol of lithium. And of course, the first letter of the symbol is a capital L, and the second letter must be a lowercase. We also see similar cases in beryllium, aluminium, and silicon, like we said before. However, there are some elements with two-letter symbols where the second letter of that symbol is not necessarily the second letter of the word element. Now, when we look at magnesium, for example, look at magnesium, learners, look at magnesium. The second letter of the symbol magnesium is G, but the second letter of the word magnesium or the magnesium element is not G but A. So we also have cases where the second letter of the symbol is taken randomly from the element. So be careful with that. Moreover, we also have some elements whose symbols are actually derived from their Greek or Latin origin. So excellent examples here include, let's go back to our slides. Excellent examples here we have, we have potassium. The Latin word for potassium is kalium, and of course its symbol is capital K, which is taken from kalium. This is also the case for sodium, whose Latin origin is natrium, and of course its symbol capital N small a. And we also have numerous examples on this table. So guys or learners, that is that about the symbols of elements. So another question we wish to ask ourselves is, why do I need to study the symbols of elements? Now, I find studying symbols of elements fun. It's actually fun to deal with. It brings about self-fulfillment. Imagine you as a learner knowing almost all the symbols of elements. You feel big. There's also that self-motivation, that what we call intrinsic motivation. So you're motivated internally, not externally, to study more about elements. Okay? Now, moreover, it also helps us as learners in taking down our notes. Instead of copying down the elements in full, you just write the symbols, and it saves you time and energy. They're also what they use during bonding. So during bonding, you need to apply symbols of elements, and they are actually very helpful in deriving the formulae of compounds. Now, when you know all these, you are likely to become probably a pharmacist or an advanced chemist, where all this little knowledge will help you in coming out with new elements and as well as new drugs. So we wish you take this lesson more seriously. Right. Now, before we round up, I want us to look at some questions, or what we call diagnostic assessment, which is actually a form of assessment to monitor your progress as far as this lesson is concerned. Okay, so it's just going to take 5 minutes, and you are supposed to give us the symbols of the 6 elements, and also tell us the names which harbor the symbols. Now, for the high achievers, we expect you to tell us the names of elements whose symbols are, of course, capital S, N, NP, etc. Now, CT actually means critical thinking. CT means critical thinking. So, and the question goes, what symbol would you give for a newly discovered element called cholesterol? Give a reason for your choice. So after this exercise, please keep your responses in the comment box below, or in your chat box if you're using Zoom, and as well, or maybe Schoology. And if you have any doubt, any worry, please contact me or leave your comments below, and I'll be more than happy to attend to you. And as well, we will be so pleased to usher you to our next objective, which is the periodic table. So stay with us, learners. Thank you.